I don't know. It would be a miracle of God if anyone survived that. But my point that I was making is that sometimes we may not want to do something or feel that we want to go somewhere, and I'm just gonna go home. But then that very last ping, whether it come from picking someone up with Lyft, Uber Eats, Grubhub, or wherever, may direct you away from danger. And God will speak to you through that danger and protecting you through so many ways. So I started thinking to myself, and I started saying to myself, Teresa, when you was let go last year, December 5th, and you said, and I said, that I was going to give the IRS 10 years. That was my 10th year anniversary. But I didn't move fast enough. I didn't leave on my own accord. I just had let pride get in my way and say, you know what? I'm going to fight y'all because I'm going to keep my job. I'm going to keep a job that I hated. I was going to stay at a job that I couldn't stand. Now, it wasn't so much that I wasn't grateful for the job or wasn't grateful for the position, because I really do enjoy certain parts of that job. But it wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my calling. I didn't have the same passion that I had when I first started there. I had some bumpy roads in the beginning, but I just knew that when I decided to come back to the IRS for the third time, because I've been there before years ago. That was what brought me to Atlanta, and I left twice. Because it was seasonal. I wasn't a permanent employee, and I was able to move on. But this last time around, in 2006, right before the economy had turned, and I stayed just like most people. They had that frame of thought about, oh, the job market is so bad. Oh, there's no jobs. I got comfortable and stayed there because it was a job, because I got that impression in my mind. It's a government job, it's job security. But it was nothing more than a hindrance. It was a clutch. It was an excuse for me not to really do my life purpose. So when that day came on my anniversary to the day, and I was going through that 6 months of appeal process, I guess you could call it, tribunal, I knew deep in my heart that I didn't want to stay there anymore. So by listening to other people saying, girl, there's nothing out there, you better stay, and oh, you better fight it, oh, you gotta, whatever, all it was causing me pain. And it was showing up in my weight. It was showing up in the way my surroundings in my house. It was showing in my attitude. It was showing in every aspect of my life. And I know that's one thing that I need to work on. So when I was let go, May 6th, I was mad, crying, not because of losing a job. It was because I didn't leave on my terms, in a sense. I had the resignation letter right there in my hand, typed up, downloaded it. But I said, no, let me fight it. Let me see if they'll let me know. Let me stay. No. For what? For $50,000? 10 years, and all I made was $50,000. And then I had to work like a slave, and people had to plead and beg for overtime. Oh, please let me get overtime. Please let me get overtime. In the meantime, I'm sitting here in six-figure student loan debts. Got an MBA degree, didn't use it, didn't do anything, didn't send out any resumes. I'm sitting there learning a new skill, didn't use because I was afraid. So when you speak things into existence about what you don't want to do, I don't want to go there, I don't want to do this, and God takes you somewhere to pick up that person or to go deliver this particular food item. That person you may be delivering, I may be delivering food, may be in worse situations than I am. They may not have, sometimes you could be an angel to someone else by delivering that food. By picking that person up and hearing them speak about whatever it is they're going through. That's why with Uber Lady Charlotte's story about the young man who was in the graveyard and didn't have nowhere to go, I could relate to that because that happened to me. I didn't go in the graveyard, but I was in the subway train in New York, didn't have a place to go, got thrown out of my room that I was renting in Queens, and stayed on the train all night. But I had someone there for me to take me in and let me stay. And it was a counselor in college, Joe Freeman. And here it is now, years later. I have my own home. I have my own cars. And those are physical things. And even though, I'm driving Uber and doing all these different ride-sharing companies, and sometimes it could get a little frustrating because I have to let go of my pride and not look at this as, driving people and they may think they entitled, because sometimes I think with Uber and Lyft, those are technology companies, and you see people just getting in your car who get entitled, who got these little attitudes and slamming cars, and I have to ignore those people. They may be providing a service, you may be providing a service, but it's those disenfranchised ones, the ones who can't afford. They may have to take a $3 pool because you don't know where you could be taking these people. You may be taking them to a shelter. You may be taking them to a halfway house because they fell on their luck. And I've taken some people to halfway houses. I didn't know it was a halfway house, but they may have fell through hard times, and they may go through some addictions and drug abuse, and they may have been in jail and prison. And we all know the prison system is not favorable to colored people of color rather, black people, brown people, poor people, minorities, and they may been convicted of those things and given another chance. We don't know no one's story. So sometimes when they get in your car, and I need to be mindful about, I don't want to do a pool, they being cheap, and that's being very insensitive. And I have to practice grace because someone has given me grace. And you know, that song of being grateful is that God has been mercy to me and will show mercy and will protect you in times where you may think that you may not want to do something. So, Thanksgiving was going to be in a couple weeks. And it's not about the holidays. It's not about, ooh, I'm going to make that money. Ooh, I'm going to go ahead and get these holiday people to get, you know. I've always not been one about money. You know. So the next time when we out there driving and we so focused on trying to get these 50 rides to get a $750 guarantee or whatever, let's take time to realize that it is not always about the money, because life is not promised, and life is too short. And seeing that accident last night rather, and several accidents in Atlanta as I drive through this city, let's not be so focused on trying to get to somewhere quickly when we don't know what we're going to be protecting ourselves from going. So I take my time, and I know I need to stop yelling and cursing and screaming out the window when people want to drive crazy and act a fool.